Welcome back to another episode of Retro ReWire. My name is JJ. In the Hunt is the name of the game. And today we find ourselves in Maebashi and Gunma. And we're going to hit up not one, but two book offs. And remember, y'all, Retro ReWire game tours, hit me up. I'll leave a link in the description. And here is our first stop, the Super Book Off Super Bazaar. Let's get in the hunt. We're going to start with the hardware, and they have quite a bit of Wii hardware, probably more hardware than they do have software, and it's starting at 900 yen in the box. That's super cheap. And there's going to be various issues, and you're going to notice that a few of these units will have a small discount on top of that already low price. Here we have a Game Boy Pocket. This is going to be a red one for 9,091 yen. That's not actually too bad of a price. And then next to that, or behind that, we have a couple of Game Boy Colors for 4,500 yen and some change. And then kind of chilling on the side here, we have a Neo Geo Pocket Color coming in at a similar price point. And you're going to notice that the screen is a little bit scuffed, but it does have both of the doors in the backside. And then what do we have here? A PS5, 4,500 yen. That's not actually too bad of a price point, or a price. Why do I keep saying price point? Anyhow, 9,000 yen for these PlayStation Vitas for the 1,000 model. And that's just going to be like the base price. And a few of these are going to have like various discounts. And we have a few slim lines. And then here we have a 3G unit. And that's going to be a limited edition one, but I'm not sure which limited edition that pertains to. And then whether these have the box or just the console only, it's still going to be like a similar, I guess, price point. Why not? And here we have the 1,000 and the 2,000 coming in at 10,000 yen. I recently scored one for 5,000 yen in the junk section, although mine is a little bit yellowed, but that's okay. And then look at the beautiful color on these PlayStation Vitas. These are going to be the slim lines, but we have the blue, we have the yellow, and the red, and various discounts across the board, most likely because of scuffs and scratches. But still, definitely very cool to see this many PlayStation Vitas. And then here we are going to make our way into the Nintendo handhelds. Up above, again, we have a 1,000 and a 2,000 PlayStation Vita, 9,000 and 10,000 yen. Next to that, we have a new Nintendo 3DS XL for 13,000 yen in the box with the 200 yen discount, next to two 2DS systems for 9,000 yen. And that's going to be some pretty good pricing across the board. Here we have a new regular Nintendo 3DS for 12,500. Again, that's a pretty good price for those units, especially if you compare it to like what you're going to find in Tokyo proper, like places like Akihabara. And then again, these don't include the box, but these new Nintendo 3DS units are going to be the same whether they include that or not. But definitely a nice selection here of Nintendo handheld units. And then below that, we have the 2DS XL, and I definitely like the design of this bad boy. I definitely wouldn't buy one just because I love playing it in stereoscopic 3D, but I definitely appreciate the design, and those are starting at 14,000 yen. And then 6,000, 3,000 yen for the vanilla 3DS, which is a great little handheld as well. I like its tiny form factor. And then look at these beautiful 2DS, like these standard ones, and the base price there is going to be 9,000 yen, but the red and the translucent one, definitely stunning. And then here we have a few of the base white colored version for 6,300 yen. But definitely very impressed with their 3DS and their PlayStation Vita offerings, especially this new Nintendo 3DS coming in at 12,500 yen. That one definitely stood out to me. And we're going to make our way into the software. But before we hit the games, let's start at the bottom. We have a few memory cards for PlayStation and GameCube respectively. We have a 9,000 and a 7,000 PS2 Slim. And then next to that, above that, we have the Game & Watch and the Neo Geo Mini. What else do we have? Another Game & Watch for 3,200 yen. And then next to that, we have a number of PlayStation Game Boy Advance SP units coming in at 9,000 yen, and a few of them are going to have various discounts, and a lot of these discounts are going to be because they're scratched. And if you're interested, if you find yourself here, you can definitely talk to one of the clerks, and they will definitely open up the case and you can have a closer look at these units. I recently picked up an SP myself in Akihabara in the junk section for 6,600 yen, and it was definitely cleaner than this one that you're seeing on screen. But definitely a fun little system, the Game Boy Advance SP. And then here we have a Famicom and Super Famicom Mini. Above that, we have our Amiibos. We have this Kirby one, 30% off. And the reason is because, look at that, a little bit scuffed. In fact, he looks bruised there. A little bit of a shame, but definitely a few Amiibos there. And then we have the Super Valis, and then Aladdin and Sailor Moon. Now, a few of these titles are going to be marked that they're also available on Yahoo Auction. So their book off is definitely expanding onto the online realm to get a lot of this retro software moving. And we have Goemon Part 1 and 3, and again, those are going to be available on Yahoo Auction. We have Slam Dunk, and then a few more titles available on Yahoo Auction sites. Look at that. That's definitely a trend that's picking up, especially with book off. And then here we have Kiki Kai Kai for 7,200, and then we have Parodius, both of those titles up on Yahoo Auction. And then we have Adventure Island, All Master Higgins here for 4,300 yen for the Famicom. And then we have a Namcot title coming in at 12,500 yen. And then Rockman 5 for 5,000 yen. And you're going to see quite a bit of Rockman for the Famicom as well as the PlayStation. But we have Dragon Quest, the original, for 12,000 yen. Another copy of Rockman 5 with a little bit of residue, and that could be easily removed. And then we have 2 copies of Rockman 4. Now, R-Type 2, 7,200 yen for the Game Boy next to Double Dragon, but that R-Type 2, definitely tempting for me. I definitely want to pick up those R-Type games for the Game Boy. But then we have Kirby there for 5,400, 3,600 yen for the Game Boy Color Pocket Monster games, and then we have Shin Megami for 3,200 yen for the old Famicom, next to some Neo Geo Pocket titles coming in at 17,000 yen, and both of those were going to be available on Yahoo Auction. Here we have the Switch Showcase. We got the OLED coming in at 29,073 yen, and there's various discounts across the board. And then here we have the Hori Super Mario GameCube looking controller coming in at 2,700 yen. What else do we have here? We got a couple of loose ones coming in at 20,000, and then 13,619 for the Switch Lite. That's not actually too bad of a price there. And then look at that Spider-Man looking Switch. I'm sure it's not. I'm confident it's not Spider-Man, but definitely has the color scheme going on, and then some more light action. And look at this beauty, the Xbox One X. This bad boy is coming in at 22,000 yen with the 400 yen discount. Definitely love the 1X. And then we have 14,000 for the vanilla version, and this is going to be the Call of Duty Collector's Edition or Limited Edition, whatever you want to call it. And then 4,500 yen is going to be the base price for the Wii's, or at least that's the starting price point. And 4,500 yen, and there's still discounts on top of that. So not too bad. Now, whether you get it in the box or you get it without the box, it's still going to have the same, base price. 8,100 yen for the Splatoon edition here. And I believe the one that's next to it, 6,300 yen, that's going to be one of the Mario ones. But it could be missing the software. I'm not really sure. But definitely nice to see this Call of Duty limited edition. And then what do we have? Some controllers here. We got a Cube controller. And then we have the Atomic Purple N64 coming in at 2,728 yen. And same price here for the Pokemon N64 controller. And then the vanilla controllers, or at least the non-special edition ones, 500 yen. And a lot of these, like the little thumbstick, that's going to be, they're going to be they're not going to be loose, which is definitely a plus. Now, this section here, definitely impressed with this section. And it's going to get better, believe me. I know we've seen quite a bit of Wii and Wii U. A lot of Wii U, as a matter of fact. But they had some pretty good hardware. What do we have here? More Wii U action. 6,300 yen. And 4,500 yen. And then we have the Wii U Pro controller. And then we have this N64 controller coming at 500 yen. But as you can see here, look, it snaps right back into place. And for 500 yen, and considering the condition, that's a really good deal, I feel. And it is working. It says okay. What else do we have here? We have some collectors and limited edition games. We have Dead or Alive 5 for the old PlayStation 3 for 3,200 yen. And then Dynasty Warriors 3, I believe. And then 4,100 for Dead or Alive Extreme. And then look at this, a Pokemon N64 unit, 20,000 yen after sales tax. And we're going to have a closer look at that one, as well as the Atomic Purple. But look at that, 15,000 yen with the 10% sales tax. That was definitely tempting. 1,000 yen for the Dreamcast here. And this one has like the little metal portion on the little exhaust fan. So that most likely has like the Yamaha drive, the GD-ROM drive. And then we have a gold N64 for 7,255. Definitely the lowest that I've seen in a while. And then another Dreamcast. This is going to be a later revision model. And what else do we have here? We have a Famicom Disk System for 891 yen before sales tax. And then next to that is going to be this beautiful Sega Saturn, a Model 2, 1,364. A PlayStation 1 Slim in the box, 3,619. That's definitely a deal. And then we have a Disk System in the box, 1,800 yen. I definitely picked up this bad boy, and it had all the little booklets. So definitely a nice score there. What else do we have? We got a PlayStation 2 for 3,619 yen. And then we have a TV Game 15 by Nintendo, a 1977 vintage unit for 5,437 yen. Definitely a collector's item for the hardcore Nintendo maniac. But back to the Pikachu N64. Let's have a closer look. And for the most part, it's in pretty good condition. However, the sticker is going to be a little bit sun faded, and all Pikachu himself, or at least the bottom, is going to be immaculate. But as I was saying, the Pikachu himself is going to have like a little mustache, and there's going to be a little bit of a marking on his foot, but those potentially could be removed. So not too bad of a condition there. And then the Atomic Purple N64, look at this bad boy. I definitely want to pick one up, but I've been seeing a lot of this console lately, so I'm definitely not in a hurry to get one. But that's definitely the N64 that I want to have in my collection. And then we have a PS1 Slim here coming in at 2,982, or a PS1, I guess. And then the software. This is going to be like the Switch stuff. They're probably like their biggest moving platform. But we have Bayonetta 3, the Masquerade Edition for 4,500 yen. And it is going to have a 10% discount there. And then we'll have a look at a few other Switch titles. We have Balan, what is that? Wonder World for 1,100 yen. And then we have Sonic Frontiers next to Sonic Colors. Oh, Yuji Naka, he was involved with all of these, at least in some form. At least creating Sonic. But I believe he's behind bars for some shady stock trading business that he was doing, which is a shame. But nonetheless, let's continue here. And look at all these loose cards for the Game Boy Advance, the DS, and the 3DS. Quite a bit of stuff in here. And, you know, it's kind of hard to film this stuff just because it's so much. But you could definitely get lost here if this is what you're after. And some pretty good titles in here. Look at all that Pokemon and Final Fantasy greatness there. And then the old PlayStation 3. Definitely love the PS3. One of my favorite platforms of all time. And then next to that, we have the PSP and the PlayStation Vita. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth because a lot of the stuff that they had was a lot of the first party stuff and a lot of the stuff that you're going to see whether you're here or in Tokyo. And the same is going to be true for the Nintendo DS, the Wii U, and the Wii. Although they did have an interesting Wii U title. This little drawing one, this drawing title. I haven't seen this one before, 1,500 yen. But definitely a funky one. And it had a little screenshot of Yoshi, so I believe that could be a first-party title. What else do we have here? We have the Konami Arcade Collection, and that's going to have 15 titles. And I want to say what Salamander there and Contra are going to be the standout ones. And then look at all those loose cards. And now this section, you know, they do have a lot of the games with the box, but that's a little bit deceiving because a lot of these games were missing the manual or had some pretty hardcore damage, I would say, especially for the collector. Like this, we have Super Mario Bros. 2,700 yen is the regular price, 50% off, and you will see why it's discounted. Now, it does have the manual, but look at that. It's missing the whole ear or the little tab there on the side. And then we have Kirby for 3,600 yen with the 30% off. That's not actually too bad of a price point there. It's a little bit smashed, but still the condition is not too bad. And then we have another Super Mario Bros. Same price, same discount. Unfortunately, this one is missing the manual. So if you're a hardcore collector, this may not be the best place to be getting your old school Famicom goods. But 2,300 yen for Super Mario Bros. 3. And then we have Gradius 3 for the Super Famicom for 3,200 yen. Again, it is missing the manual, and that's going to be something that's going to be fairly common with their Super Famicom selection, unfortunately. And we have old Bonk here for 4,300 yen next to some Koei action there. And then Final Fight 2 for 1,500 yen. That's not too bad of a price there. I played Final Fight 2 years and years ago. I rented it from a local store, and it was a great game. And then Goemon 2, I definitely want to pick up a copy of this in a complete in box. Unfortunately, again, this one is missing the manual, hence the 50% off. And again, missing the manual, Super Mario Bros. 4, 2,700 yen before the discount. And then Mickey's Adventure here, 2,900 yen, 50% off, and you guessed it, missing the manual. And then here we have another Koei strategy game next to Super Mario RPG for 2,900 yen, 50% off. Most likely missing the manual there. But Chomai Kaimura, again, 4,100 yen, 50% off, missing that manual. And on the PlayStation 1 side, again, as well as the Sega Saturn, I didn't really focus on this section too much because it's what you could expect to see. A lot of Rockman, a lot of Capcom, a lot of first-party titles, and nothing really, I don't want to say too noteworthy because, these games are definitely classic and you can never get enough Rockman action. But anyhow, let's go ahead and take a break. We got a number 1 combo. We got the old Big Mac here. It looks, and this thing tastes exactly the same as you would expect it for it to taste in the States and Europe and whatnot. But anyhow, let's go ahead and go to the next location. It's going to be another book off, and it's going to be about 2 stops away. And this one was also impressive in the fact that look at all these aisles just full of figures. If figures is something that you're after, this is definitely a place to come because they had so much stuff, and it was a little bit overwhelming. Now, this section was definitely cool, the vinyl record section, and sometimes it is worth browsing because you can find some old school soundtracks, video game soundtracks on vinyl, as well as movie soundtracks. But let's go ahead and hit up this showcase here and see if we can find some other goodies. And let's just hit it here with the Super Famicom stuff. We have King of Monsters, the King of the Monsters for 2,700 yen, and I definitely love that cover. Next to that, we have Batman Returns, Super R-Type, Fire Emblem, and then we have ActRaiser. We got a Link to the Past there for 4,500 yen, 3,200 for ActRaiser, and then 3,200 yen for Gradius 3, and this one is intact, at least as far as I can tell. There was no labeling there. And a few of these will have small discounts, but definitely not as much as the previous location. But we have Bomberman, we had Kirby there, and then we have Bonk Part 2 for 3,900 yen. And then we have this Technos game on the side there for 8,100 yen. And then we have Rockman Soccer for 4,800, and then we have Contra Spirits for 10,000 yen before that 10% sales tax. And then we have Zelda Majora's Mask for 2,000, 6,800 yen for 007, next to Akumajo Apocalypse for the N64 for 4,800 yen. That's definitely one that I want to add to my collection. And the Japanese version, we'll see the price point there for 007. And then this Capcom game, it has like a little, I believe it has like a little keyboard. But going back to that Akumajo game, you can't save directly to the cart. You don't need the memory card, and it has limited English language options. So that's definitely nice to see. And then we have Dragon Ball Z Hyperdimension for 12,000 yen next to another copy of Contra for 10,000 yen. And then we have Shin Megami getting blasted by the showcase light. And then we have Parodius there for 5,900 yen. Super Drift Out, Darius Twin, and King of the Monsters 2 for 7,200 yen. And again, a really gnarly cover there. We have Raiden 3 for 10,000 yen next to Flying Power Disc or Windjammers for 7,200. And then we have this Space Fighter something by Kemco for 8,100 yen. And then we have a classic Bomberman and Rockman 5 for 5,000 yen, and you get a 100 yen discount. So a little bit of discounts across the board here. And what else do we have here? We have Rygar for the old Famicom for 4,100 yen. And I definitely like that cover. Look at that. That looks pretty mean. Not as mean as Ninja Gaiden, as we'll see here shortly. But what else do we have? Fist of the North Star there for 3,600. Akumajo Densetsu for 17,000 yen, next to this murder mystery title that I keep seeing for 4,100 yen, and that cover is actually growing on me. But we have Batman and then Ninja Gaiden 3 for 13,000 yen with the 100 yen discount. Look at that. And then we have the Switch showcase. A lot of Switch action here, a lot of controllers down below. And then they have the lone PlayStation Vita 1000 unit for 9,000 yen. No box there. And then above that, we have a 3DS XL and a Game Boy Advance SP, each coming in at 9,000 yen, and you get a 10% discount on the SP, which a great little handheld. And 9,000 yen, you know, compared to what I'm seeing at Super Potato, definitely, yeah, I would say that's a deal. But what do we have here? 40,891 for these PlayStation 5s down below. Now those could be missing the DualSense controller, but here we have a 1S and a Series S. Beautifully designed, both of these. And I want to say between the two, the 1S definitely takes the cake. That thing is a thing of beauty. And then up above, we have some more PS5s. These ones are a little bit more, coming in at 45,000 yen and some change. And most likely because they include that controller and then just an assortment of controllers. Now we're going to make our way down the gaming aisle. And again, like, I wasn't really, like, personally speaking, I wasn't really super impressed. It was what I was expecting to see at this location. But nonetheless, we're all after different things, and let's just have a deep dive here. Let's take a look at what we're going to see. And we're going to start with the Famicom titles. And we'll start with the loose carts. We have Rockman here. This is going to be part 5, and that's coming in at 900 yen. Overall, a pretty good condition. Next to that, we have Valkyrie Adventure for 480 yen. Again, a pretty sweet cover, and not too bad of condition there. And then we have Rockman 2 coming in at 1,800 yen. Great title, and again, not too bad of a condition there. And then up above that, we have Makaimura coming in at 900 yen. This is a super difficult title, but nonetheless, definitely a great game. And then we have Super Mario Bros. 480 yen. And again, not too bad of a condition. We have Kirby's Dream Land for 480. A little bit sun-faded, but 480 for Kirby, that's actually a pretty good deal, I would say. And then we have Adventure Island 2 with all Master Higgins for 1,800 yen, and then we have Double Dragon 2 for 2,300 yen, which is not too bad of a price. This game, I forget what it's called, but definitely see it from time to time. We have 1942 for 1,500 yen, next to Super Mario Bros. 3 for 480 yen. Again, not too bad of a condition there. And then we have Kage by Taito and Gradius, both coming in at 480 yen. Although in the case of Gradius, we're going to see a little bit of scuffs and marks on the back. We have Kid Dracula for 2,300 yen. And then more loose cards for the Super Family. And a lot of Rockman action here down below. And again, there's going to be a lot of first party stuff, a lot of noteworthy third party stuff. And you could definitely get lost just kind of digging through the cards here. But look at this Final Fight, 900 yen next to Fire Emblem coming in at the same price. And then 480 for Soul Calibur, Grandia 2 for 900 yen with the soundtrack. And what do we have here? Macross for 1,500 yen. A small selection of Sega Saturn titles. We have Tactics Ogre. And then we have Assault Suit Lanos 2 for 1,800 yen. And that's definitely the lowest that I've seen this game in a while. And it includes the Obi card, so that's definitely not bad. And then again, nothing really stand out. We have Eve, the Lost One, which I believe is an interactive FMV type of game. But a little bit small pickings there for the Sega Saturn. But we have Cotton, the original, for 11,000 yen on the old PS1. And this was originally 1,500 yen. And then here we have a wrestling game with a very interesting cover. And I wonder how the actual game is. But we have Einhander for 1,800 yen with a 10% discount. That's actually a fairly reasonable price. A pretty good price if you ask me. And then we have the simple 1500 series for the Ray Force games. We have Ray Storm and Ray Crisis. And we have Dark Souls 2, the Scholar of the First Sin, for 1,500 yen. And it looks to be complete, including the little Obi. Look at that. That's a great game. I had a great time playing that one on the old PlayStation 3. And then we have Dungeons and Dragons for 10,000 yen. Now, this one is definitely creeping up in price. I think when I picked mine up like about 6 years ago, it was like about 3,000 yen. And then we have Sonic Generations. Another great game that supports stereoscopic 3D. We have Tekken Dark Resurrection for 270 yen, a quality title, super cheap. Initial D for 1,500 yen with a 10% discount. Definitely want to pick that up at some point. And then we have Kirby, 5,400 yen, which was the same price as the one in Maeabashi's Super Book Off Bazaar. And then we have Seiken for 4,500 yen, an action RPG. And judging by the screenshots, it looks pretty cool. Haven't seen that one before. And now let's just take a quick peek at other sections of the store, mainly like the toy figures. And as I was saying earlier, if toy figures is your thing, this is definitely a spot to hit up, as they had so much. I'm just showing you a small portion of all the madness of figures that they had in stock. Look at all this Transformer stuff. Definitely tempting. But anyhow, guys, there's definitely going to be a lot more to come. I've been a little bit busy with work, but the filming has not stopped. I just got to get a little bit busier with the editing, but more to come soon. Ciao.